Picture Nemonte Nenquimo, standing at dawn beside the Kurore River. Mist curls across the dark water. 1,000 shades of green stretch out before her, alive with the sounds of the forest. She knows this place is more than trees and rivers. It's the heartbeat of her people. What if protecting what matters most meant standing against giants? What if the greatest battles are fought not with weapons, but with willpower, focus, and love? Long before the world knew her name, she was simply a daughter of the Amazon, a Waorani girl who listened to her elders tell stories around the fire. One day, that same girl would be named to Time magazine's 100 Most Influential People. She would stand in front of cameras and courts, defending 500,000 acres of pristine rainforest. But this isn't just her fight. This is the fight of anyone who's ever loved something too much to let it be destroyed. And like every great journey, it began with a choice. This is more than an environmental story. It's the journey of a daughter, a leader, a protector. Nemonte faced pressures most of us can't imagine, from oil executives, from politicians, even from members of her own community who feared conflict. She had to lead through mistrust, exhaustion, and fear. And maybe you know that feeling, when distractions are louder than your own voice, when quitting seems easier than chasing a goal people call impossible. Could you keep your focus for years through setbacks, isolation, and threats? In this story, you're going to see how she did exactly that. Born in Nemonte, deep in the Ecuadorian Amazon, Nemonte's childhood was woven with rivers, waterfalls, and the rustle of the canopy above. Everything was a classroom. The trails that taught patience, the elders who taught wisdom, the rivers that taught both stillness and power. Her values came not from books, but from listening before speaking, from understanding that all life is connected. She didn't know it then, but those roots would one day guide her through the fight of a lifetime. When she was 12, she visited family living near oil drilling sites. The water ran thick and dark. The forest smelled of chemicals. It was more than damage to the land. It was the slow erasure of a people's way of life. The lesson was clear. What others see as resources, her people see as home. Years later, the Ecuadorian government announced plans to auction large sections of Waorani territory for oil. It was a crossroads. She could step aside and hope someone else would act, or she could lead. In 2015, Nemonte became the first female president of the Waorani organization. She immediately set a tone of accountability for herself, her people, and her allies. Meetings ran until every voice was heard. Plans were made, and each person committed to doing their part. She made it clear, our strength is in unity. Our power is in truth. When oil companies promised money, she asked one question: does it protect the forest? When politicians offered deals, she asked, does it honor our ancestors? If the answer was no, the conversation ended. No matter the pressure, she kept her mission in sight and refused to drift even a degree off course. Nemonte didn't see modern tools as a threat. She saw them as allies. She worked with her people to fly drones over sacred sites, to map their territory with GPS, and to gather undeniable evidence of what was at stake. Each tool became a way to defend tradition, proof that old wisdom and new ideas could work together to protect the future. In 2019, after years of legal battles, the court delivered its verdict. The Waorani had won. 500,000 acres of rainforest were safe from oil drilling. The world celebrated. But for Nemonte, the victory wasn't headlines. It was imagining future generations walking barefoot on the same forest trails she knew as a child. It was proof that persistence, focus, and love could triumph over greed. Nemonte Nenquimo's story isn't just about the Amazon, it's about defending what matters to you. Even when the fight is long, the opposition is massive, and the outcome uncertain. Her life proves you don't need privilege or power to make change. You need clarity, accountability, and relentless focus. She teaches us that anger can burn you out, but love can fuel you forever. And if you've ever thought your voice was too small, or your fight too big, remember her ordinary beginnings, extraordinary transformations. Now ask yourself, what will you protect, fight for, or create if you start today?